Hello and welcome to my personal opinion on Silica unit tier list for patch 0.7.14. This tier list should be still effective until the AI units comes out. If when this video is published and this update that trend drastically, please ignore this tier list or you just stay here to hear my opinion. Anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. First up, we have the human faction. At T0, we have the scout. Building at barracks. I'll put this in D. Ignore if possible. Scout costs 50 resources of 100 health. It's pretty squishy. Probably the most squishy unit in the game. Anything that blows at it, it dies. The only thing it goods for is for scouting, which is giving you a vision. Player also spawns this. Next up, we have the Rifleman, also available at T0 barracks. We'll put it in C. Build if required. Early game Rifleman's pretty good defense against alien crab rush. You build some of them and then place them around at your critical structures such as your tech or HQ or around your harvester. They are pretty decent defending against crabs. Also a bit decent against Impaler as well, assuming Impaler doesn't just 2-tabs them or 1-tabs. Definitely more accurate than the scout and more damage as well. Then we have the light vehicle factory. The light quad at T0 tech. I'll place it at A, supplement secondary core unit. Light quad costs 300 resources with health 3000. Do more damage than a scout but lower than rifleman. Scout's very efficient in terms of cost to health ratio and is also the fastest unit in the human faction. If quad's running on flat ground compared to hunter, light quad always outruns it. It's very good against alien early game because you just fuel them and then just quad rush them. If alien doesn't have hunter impaler, and that's it. That's it for the aliens early game. Because quad can literally kill anything that alien can throw at them at early game. But against human early game, quad is not that great. However, during mid to late game where rocket launcher is available for both teams, light quad with his speed can actually rush to rocket launcher and disable them. If the AI players, they also have to look out for the light quad. You build a bunch of them, it's pretty scary. Imagine having a 20 light quad rushing on top of your tanks. Tanks can only shoot that fast before just being tickled down while being shot at enemy tanks, while also being effective against alien horde as well. Next up, we have the Marksman. Available at barracks at tier 1 tech. Marksman I put that as C. Build if required. Marksman costs 300 resources, which is same cost as a quad. AI Marksman can outrange impalers and other early aliens, but mostly this is used for players. In player hands, you can snipe the nest across the map, or you snipe enemies tech or harvester, shrimps. Then from the light vehicle factory, you have the heavy quad. I'll put D, ignore if possible. Heavy quad costs 500 with only 4000 health. A bit more damage than the quad, but also slower than the quad. The damage increase is also barely noticeable. 50 compared to 80 damage. If this cost was lower, then probably it's worth it. Next up, we have the tier 2 tech. From infantry or the barracks, we have heavy. Heavy will be at A, supplementary units. Heavy only costs 200 resources, but the damage, heavy literally shooting homing rockets. Unfortunately, their accuracy is on the bad side. It does not accurately shoot any smaller units like light quad, but it's good against Goliath if aliens trying to rush that early game. Also good against hover tank or railgun tank. Heavy is definitely most useful during mid to late game. If your economy allows it, you mass spam these heavy units, they are gonna do a lot of damage to enemies and to yourself. Because if you move them too close to each other, they're gonna friendly fire each other and probably just kill a bunch of heavies around them as well. With player controls, this thing is nightmare. You can snipe enemy structures or harvesters. Overall, heavy is very efficient with the cost and the damage you deal. Next up, from the light vehicle factory, we have the light armor car. I'll rank this as A as well. Light armor car costs 800 resources with 5000 health. It comes with autocannon and machine gun. Early games against alien, this thing can wreck Hunter and Impalers. Until alien got Scorpion, this is a menace for them. In late game, this can act as a escort for your other heavy tanks or armor due to its relatively same speed as other heavy armor units. Then if this is against human, the light armor car can be effective to deal with light quad spam in the late game. Overall, it's a pretty solid choice if you have the economy to support it. If not, it will go default into light quad. In tier 2 tech, from the heavy vehicle factory, we have the heavy armor car. I'll put it in C, build if required. Costs 1100 resources with a health of 6500. Only 1500 more than light armor car. Much slower than it, but you have the main cannon that can effectively deal with Scorpion rush early game or Goliath rush. You also have a machine gun. If heavy armor car isn't built from the heavy vehicle factory, I'll most likely put this B, situational unit. Overall, it's not worth the cost this thing can bring, effectively countered by Scorpion and also Goliath, since this thing most likely cannot outrun it. Depends on the terrain you're at, due to the slow speed you have, and it's not hover. At tier 3 tech, we have the Commando from Barracks. I'll put it D, ignore if possible. Commando costs 500 resources with only 250 health. An Impaler can just 2-tap this unit. A Scorpion can just 1-tap this unit. So this will be strictly used for player control only. If you want defenses around your structure or harvesters, you should go for Rifleman instead. If you want to go on offense or attack, you should probably use heavy anyways. So overall, I don't see the cost effective for this unit. At tier 3 heavy vehicle factory, we have the rocket launcher. I'll put it at A. AI control rocket launcher, it's bad, but it's still doable due to the amount of single target it can deal. If player control, this thing is a nightmare. You can shoot across the map, it can arc. So you can basically hide behind a cliff or rock and just shooting it away. Bombed all your structures or units from the safety. Good counter against Goliath. Good counter against Scorpion that's hiding on the cliff. Beware, do not let AI control this rocket launcher because it will team kill all your units. Also, if a crab or any enemy units literally standing beside a heavy vehicle factory, the moment you spawn, it will shoot the heck out of your factory and will probably kill itself in the process. So it's double-edged sword with AI, but definitely a nightmare if a competent player using rocket launcher. You can definitely win your game if used properly. Next up, we have the hover tank. Also built from the heavy vehicle factory. This will be the S rank, which also means the primary core units for human faction. This tank, it can also jump boost. It also have the dash boost if player control. AI does not know how to use it. There's no commander control for forcing AI to use that boost. You can kill many Scorpion with this hover tank. And you can dodge enemy shot or enemy's hover tank shot with dash boost or jump boost. Depends where the enemy is aiming at. Very versatile against alien, and this should be your primary unit against alien. Due to the fact that they have crabs, impellers, spam, as well as Scorpion and Goliath, this hover tank can deal all of the aliens unit. Against human, not really so. You'll be more counter to rocket truck if you can snipe it, or light armor car, scout, or heavy. With this machine gun, overall, best unit for human faction for AI control and human control. Tier 3 ultra heavy factory, we have the harvester. I put it build if required. You should never build more harvester than the refinery that you have on the map. Because each harvester is gonna claim the near refinery close to them or original refinery. If you force an AI go to the claimed refinery, two things can happen. One, they cannot draw all resources or player as well. Two, sometimes two harvesters might teleport to one refinery when close. When they merge together, they will explode and possibly lost all the harvester, or you may have one left with very low HP. The only time you will build harvester is that you have less harvester than a refinery. Also, don't make battle harvester, that's just a meme. Then move up to tier 4 tech. Heavy vehicle factory, you have the pulse tank. I'll put this in B, situation unit. Pulse tank's only good against alien, an alien swarm that is. If you see alien commanders spamming a lot of crabs or impalers or any lesser unit, you use a pulse tank. Pulse tank will one-shot anything that's made out from lesser on. So it's also good as scorpion wave as well, if you really think about it. But however, due to pulse tank's projectile lifetime, or should say the range you had is very short. So this unit is strictly used for anti-swarm and anti-infantry. Decent against single target, but you have rocket truck for that. Next up, we have the Railgun Tank. I'll put them in primary core unit. Railgun Tank AI usually is better than a human control Railgun Tank due to their very precise accuracy and very fast projectile speed. If they see a scorpion trying to peek with their tail and Railgun Tank can lie inside of them, it will shoot its weak point, never misses, or almost never misses. Not even Lyquat, the fastest unit in the game, can dodge Railgun Tank shot if it has a line of sight to it. And even with aircraft, you can spawn aircraft in the game with a debug menu. You can fly in the top speed, zooming around, and a Railgun Tank still one-shot it with precise accuracy. The Railgun Tank also comes with a rocket, the Swarm Rocket or the Swarm Homing Rocket, or let that get called. Pretty good for the small units like Crab or infantry unit or lighter armor. However, that's not its job. Railgun Tank is mostly used to deal with heavy armor such as Scorpion, Goliath, or enemy Railgun Tank or hover tanks, while trying to snipe off enemy structures as a player. Overall, Railgun Tank is definitely must-build unit for human faction. Against human, you most likely build Railgun Tank and some hover tank, due to human got much more heavy armor than the alien is. Then finally, from the ultra heavy factory, you have the siege tank. I'll put it in situational unit. Siege tank costs 5,000 resources with 80,000 health. Its signature weapon is the plasma ball that it shoots at. The main primary use of siege tank is to snipe enemy structures. That's if the siege tank is being controlled by player. AI, they will shoot a unit. They will never snipe them across the map. And as well as projectile speed is too slow. If you shoot from a range, enemy can just sidestep and just dodge the ball. So you build this mostly for against human. When you try to siege the defense line, or you're trying to snipe their critical structure with siege tank. Against alien, it's overkill any units other than Goliath or their nests or other structures. Crab can kill a siege tank, and siege tank doesn't have nothing to do to counter it. And that's it for the human faction. Now for the alien faction. At tier 0, we have the shrimp from the lesser spawn. S unit. I don't think I need to explain myself why shrimp is a S tier. If you didn't build any shrimps, I think I should suggest you to start playing as alien commander. Shrimp is your source of eco. Next up, we have the crab, also available at T0 tech at lesser spawn. Crab will be at A tier. Player also spawn as a crab. The crab is probably, I would say, yeah, most versatile unit in the game. You can kill infantry, you can kill tanks, you can kill structures, and it's pretty cheap. It only costs 80 resources and it's 600 health. Crab itself is not very good overall, but if you combine the hordes of crab with other core units swarming to enemy base, crab is just really dangerous. Because you can take a shot from Railgun Tank, you just take a pretty long time to charge, like around 10 seconds. The crab took the shot and died, but at least it's safe. The other units be getting shot by a Railgun Tank or hover tank. Crab also very good for visions or for scouting. Overall, crab is good. Crab is life. Mid to late game, we should swarm with crab. Next up, we have the tier 1. You have the Horn Crab. I put a D, ignore if possible. Double the cost, but only 900 health. More damage than a crab for sure. Also move at the same speed, but you're much bigger. That means you're much easier to hit than a crab. There's no reason to build this, aside you just wasting resources. With the same amount of resources, you can build 2 crab. Therefore, do not ever build Horn Crab. At tier 1, lesser spawn, we also have the Impalers. Impalers will be A tier. Impaler costs 220 resources with 600 health. Sure, it's squishy, but you got range. However, it sucks at long range. This thing can shred if you build hordes of them. You can shred hover tank, you can shred Railgun Tank, you can shred enemy infantry. Due to cheap resources for a range option for Impalers, with a build time of 40, which is double amount of crab. In late game, this is terrifying. You hear a bunch of Impalers just rush on top of a tank. Also, Impaler is pretty good in early defense against humans like quad rush. 2 Impaler generally is enough to deal with 1 quad. If the infantry player of the FPS player play well or competent enough. However, once Marksman comes out, Impalers will be pretty weak against other Marksman FPS player. Marksman can 2-tap them. Overall, it's very good units to spam in late game. You have the economy to support it. If not, you go for the crab. Then we have the tier 2 tech. We have the Hunter, available at greater spawn. Hunter will be as B, situational unit. Hunter only costs 500 resources with a health 4500. Strictly controlled by player. Hunter will be mostly used at early game for defending against light quad. But you build them early game as well, or early to mid game, to protect your forward spawn or your tech, your structure, or whatever, your shrimp lines. Because this is the second fastest unit in the game, and it does not affect it by terrain. It's definitely a solid defense against early to mid game. However, in late game, will be a very situational unit. You use the speed to flank the enemy, either to harass their harvester or just to destroy their tech or HQ, or you just rush down enemy's rocket truck. Next up, we have the Behemoth. I'll put a C, build if required. Behemoth is only good for one thing: anti-infantry. Anti-heavy armors like hover tanks or railgun tank, it sucks. At a cost of 1,200 resources to build and 10,000 health. Overall, Behemoth is not worth the price to build and the time. There are other better alien units to build, unless there's a lot of infantry. Next up, we have the Scorpion. Scorpion will be the alien core unit. You will always build Scorpion. Scorpion costs 1,600 to resource to build, and at 12,000 HP. Much stronger than Behemoth, and you deal more damage than Behemoth, and also anti-armor. However, with the recent nerf to Scorpion, their range effectiveness got reduced. Because they got spread now, so it's not that accurate at longer ranges. So player cannot just climb up the mountain, just snipe human structure from far away, or snipe other vehicles. They'll have to go to at least mid-range to actually deal some decent amount of damage. If alien can build Scorpion early game, where human does not have access to heavy armor car or hover a railgun tank, it's a nightmare for human. The only thing they can deal with is a heavy. At late game, a swarm of Scorpion is terrifying, as you'll require a bunch of railgun tank to hold off, as well as rocket truck, and probably some heavy as well. Scorpions definitely can shred light quad, light armor car, rocket truck, as well as a heavy armor car, and heavy quad as well. Scorpion's melee damage is at 2,800, which is much higher than Behemoth. Power tank somehow got close to you, you can literally charm it to death. Or any other tank in that matter. As well as a harvester, if you climb on a harvester, you can just wreck it. Overall, best unit, must build. And finally, we have the Goliath, available after T4 tech, built at the greater spawn. I'll put this at A. Goliath costs 2,400 resources with a 50,000 health. With a build time of 120 seconds, so it takes 2 minutes. It's very hard to build mass of Goliath. However, if you manage to do it, That would be a very terrifying situation for human, as they only have rocket truck and railgun tank dual view, and if they somehow get siege tank, well, your Goliaths pretty much get countered hard. But their main objective would be soaking damage from other aliens unit, such as crab hordes or Impaler hordes or scorpion hordes, because humans have to deal with Goliath first. Goliath deal a massive amount of damage to structures. However, it moves quite slow, but it can roll. As alien commander, you can also order AI Goliath to roll with a sprint option, or you let the player control it, or you can build Goliath as a flanking option to human structures while you have the horde facing the front line. Either way, Goliath is a solid unit, and you should build some for enemy distraction. Never send a Goliath alone to deal with human armor, such as hover tanks or railgun tank, because hover tank can outrun the Goliath, but railgun tank cannot. But by the time the Goliath reaches the railgun tank, Goliath is probably much dead, or it's probably dead long time ago with a rocket launcher. Build Goliath and build a horde. And that's the end of my Silica unit tier list for patch 0.7.14. If you like this video, please subscribe, enjoy the content. Tier list template and the spreadsheet for unit stats will be in the description. Now see you in the next video. Goodbye.